Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz. This is Ron's Big Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 4 college basketball games for Friday, March 1st, 2024. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my college basketball pink shot best bet, you can find us at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, here we go. Here's the first day of March in college basketball. First up, we see Bowling Green and Ohio. This one's going to be a 6 p.m. Eastern start time. It's going to be on CBS Sports Network. Got to start by saying not my favorite card for Friday. Now, I will say it's one of the bigger Friday cards we've seen in a while in conference play. So, that's a good thing. But I don't see a ton of value on the board. And I think with, a loaded card on Saturday and, it's the 1st of March. So with madness right around the corner, both in conference tournaments, the NCAA tournament, and other postseason tournaments, there's no reason to go crazy here for Friday's card. But in this matchup, Ohio's coming off the big win over Akron. They're on a 3-game win streak, so they're in good form. But I do expect a bit of a letdown here. Akron's the best team in the conference by far. Ohio lost the first game in that season series by 9 to them, and they were able to, play well at home. They were down early in that game, but they mounted a comeback in the second half, and they earned the W 74-67. But, Bowling Green, I think, actually matches up pretty well in this game. And while they're not in the best of form themselves, I still think that, fundamentally, they have a big advantage on the glass in this game, both on the offensive and defensive side. I like the fact that this team is disciplined defensively. They force some tough shots, but they also do a really good job of getting to the free throw line on the other side. And, Ohio, while I think they could still certainly win this game and get the revenge after losing the first matchup of the season series, this is just a really big number. And I think because of that Akron win, Ohio is a bit overvalued here. So I'm going to go with Bowling Green plus the points. And I would sprinkle a little bit on the money line. I think Bowling Green is still a live dog here, but I'll take the points just in case. Next up, we see North Florida and Stetson. This one's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start time. It's going to be on ESPN+. Now, we haven't seen a lot of Atlantic Sun games on Fridays this season, but this is going to be the final game in the regular season for both of these teams as they prepare for the conference tournament. And these are two very similar teams, two potent offenses that take a lot of three-point jumpers. They make them at a good rate, two good free throw shooting teams, but two teams that aren't necessarily worried about the defensive end at all times. North Florida is ranked 315th in adjusted defensive efficiency. Stetson, two teams worse at 317th. And, this should be a great game, just like the first one was in the season series, a one-point game. No surprise there, 75-74 in favor of the Hatters in DeLand. But North Florida playing at home here, playing with revenge. And we're actually getting them at a really good price because of them losing that first game of the season series, because of them having the inferior record, Stetson at 19-11 on paper, North Florida at 15-15. And the fact that North Florida lost its last 2 games, while Stetson has won 2 straight and 4 of its last 6. I think all those recent results really giving us a nice price with the Ospreys, a team that takes the most threes in college basketball. They have 4 guys that have over 100 three-point attempts this season. And while North Florida's three-point defense in terms of a percentage is not as good as Stetson's, Stetson gives up more points in terms of point distribution to three-point field goals, 31.6% of their points given up this season, a bit from threes, while North Florida down to 25.7%. It doesn't seem like a big difference, but it certainly could matter in a game like this with both teams taking a ton of three-point jumpers. With North Florida at home, I think they'll bounce back here and get that revenge win at an excellent price. I'm going to take the Ospreys here. Next up, we see Dartmouth and Yale. This one's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start time. It's going to be on ESPN+. I give Dartmouth a lot of credit for covering that number against Princeton last time out and playing a competitive game. I mean, it was a 4-point lead for Dartmouth at halftime in that one, and Princeton, pulled away in the second half, won that game by 12, but, Dartmouth was catching 15.5 points at the closing number, so they covered the number. But I still think Dartmouth is the weakest team in this conference, one of the weaker teams, and honestly, in Division I hoops this year, and they are mathematically out of making the conference tournament in the Ivy League. And the Ivy League does it a lot different than most conferences in Division I, as only the top 4 seeds in this conference are going to make the tournament. And right now, Cornell, Princeton, and Yale are locks. They're all 9-2 right now, playing for the 1, 2, and 3 seeds. And then Brown, Harvard, and Columbia are fighting for the final spot in the tournament. But for me, Yale still has something to play for because they are in the mix right now with Princeton and Cornell to try to get that better seed and try to lock up the number 1 spot to play one of the weaker teams in the conference. While Yale doesn't need to necessarily blow out Dartmouth to get that job done, I still think they do. I think Yale's just a much better team here. They already crushed Dartmouth in the first matchup, 76-51. I see another blowout win here. I'm going to go with Yale and lay the points. Next up, we see Air Force and Utah State. This one's going to be an 11 p.m. Eastern start time. It's going to be on Fox Sports 1. Utah State, we know, one of those profitable teams at home this season in the Mountain West Conference. We're starting to see some road teams cover in some of these games. We saw San Jose State the other night against San Diego State only lose that game by, I think, like 12 points, catching 22 or 21 and a half. We saw Air Force, of course, outright New Mexico back last Saturday. That was, a crazy game as Air Force was a 19-point dog. They won the game outright. But in this spot, I still think Utah State takes care of business because, Air Force, they are a very volatile team. We mentioned that, last couple of games that they played, and they take a lot of threes. They make them at a great rate. But Utah State is number one in the country in three-point defense. They only give up 28% to their opponents from the perimeter. That's just really bad news for Air Force, who really relies on that three-point jumper. Other than that, they turn the ball over way too much. They're not a good rebounding team. They're a miserable defensive team. And we saw the first meeting of the season series, a 28-point blowout win for Utah State, and that was on the road. Now you're at home. I just think that we saw Air Force really struggle in the second half against Boise State. It was actually a close game for a little bit in that one, and then Boise State ended up winning by 31 all of a sudden. I don't know if it's going to get that ugly, but it could very well because Utah State's three-point defense is even better than Boise State. So I'm going to go Utah State here and lay the big number at home. And that's it. Those are the games for Friday in college hoops. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. There's also a link in the description. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.